The sun had barely risen over the dusty backroads of Texas when it all began, a quiet morning that would soon turn into a story the entire town would never forget. The camera pans across endless golden fields, wind brushing through tall grass, and a girl walking alone down the road, her boots dusty, her backpack heavy, her eyes fixed ahead like someone who's got nothing to lose, and everything to protect. If you're watching this, don't scroll away, because by the end of this story, you'll understand why sometimes the smallest people carry the biggest secrets. And maybe, you'll never underestimate anyone again. Her name was Ellie Mae, the only daughter of a struggling farmer who had passed away just 6 months earlier. Since then, she'd been running the ranch on her own, trying to keep her father's land from being taken by a greedy local developer. She was smart, quiet, and tougher than she looked, the kind of girl who learned to fix tractors before she learned to paint her nails. But what no one knew was that Ellie's father had been a military engineer, a man who left behind more than just land and memories. He left behind knowledge, dangerous knowledge. That morning, Ellie had packed her father's old rucksack with something she built over the past few nights, a makeshift surprise, just in case trouble came her way. And trouble, as fate would have it, came on 2 roaring Harleys. As she walked down that dusty road toward town, 2 bikers appeared from the bend, leather jackets, tattoos, and a cruel grin stretched across their faces. They were part of the Vipers, a gang that had been terrorizing small farms for months, shaking down folks for protection money. And Ellie was next on their list. "Hey, sweetheart," one of them called, slowing his bike. "That's a mighty big backpack for a little lady. What you got in there? Lunch?" Ellie didn't answer. She just kept walking, her grip tightening around the straps. "Don't ignore us," the other shouted, parking his bike in front of her. "Let's see what's inside." Before Ellie could react, one of them grabbed the backpack from her shoulders and swung it open, laughing. "What's this, some kind of science project?" Then, it clicked. Literally, a high-pitched beep echoed in the air, and Ellie took 3 steps back, her voice calm and cold. "You might wanna put that down." The biker frowned, looking inside. His eyes widened when he saw the blinking red light and a note taped to the battery, "Not all traps are set for animals." "Dude, what the?" They dropped the bag and stumbled backward as smoke burst out, not an explosion, but a thick, choking cloud of tear gas that blinded them instantly. The 2 men coughed, stumbled, and fell into the dirt, trying to wipe their eyes as Ellie calmly walked over and kicked one of their guns away. "I told you," she said softly. "It's not yours to touch." As they groaned on the ground, she pulled out her phone and dialed the sheriff, a man who'd ignored her calls before, claiming he couldn't mess with the Vipers. But this time, she didn't call for help. She called to say, "You'll find 2 of them waiting for you at the East Road. Don't be late." By the time the sheriff's truck arrived, Ellie was gone, vanished back into the fields. All that remained were 2 furious, coughing bikers tied up with their own belts and a bag full of smoke canisters. The sheriff stared at them, half in disbelief, half in amusement. "Looks like the farm girl ain't one to mess with." That night, word spread like wildfire across the county. People whispered about the farm girl trap. Some called her reckless, others called her a hero. But to Ellie, it wasn't about revenge, it was about sending a message. Days later, the rest of the Vipers came back, looking for payback. They stormed the ranch, thinking they'd find an easy target. But the farm had changed. Floodlights switched on automatically, traps triggered along the fences, harmless, but humiliating. Buckets of paint, ropes, and alarms set off in a chaotic dance that drove the bikers into confusion. Ellie appeared on the porch, holding her father's old rifle, unloaded, but they didn't know that. "You boys like stealing from folks who can't fight back," she said, her voice steady. "Well, now you found one who can." The gang hesitated, then turned tail, their pride shattered more than their bones. And when the sheriff and townsfolk arrived later, they found Ellie leaning on the porch rail, smiling faintly. "I didn't need saving," she told them. "Just someone to believe I could save myself." From that day on, the ranch was safe. The townspeople who once pitied her started respecting her. And Ellie, that quiet, determined farm girl, became a symbol of courage for everyone who'd ever been underestimated. The story ends with her standing in the sunset, fixing her father's tractor once more, a little smile on her face as the narrator's voice fades in. Sometimes life will test you with storms. Sometimes people will try to take everything you have. But if you stay brave, stay smart, and stand your ground, no one can break you. If you felt Ellie's strength, If her courage inspired you, hit that like button and subscribe. Because stories like hers remind us all that power doesn't come from muscle or money, it comes from heart. And that's what this world needs more of. Heart.